Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Pat the Dentist, and I'm assuming you guys are all watching this video because you just got your first invite to a dental school interview. So congratulations, you got through the toughest part. Now you know on paper that you're good enough to get into dental school. So what I have over here are actually 12 questions that are the most common questions you can expect when you go to your various dental school interviews. So I'll kind of just fire through them right now. One question you can definitely expect is why dentistry, or some sort of a variation of what got you interested in dentistry. So that should be something that you've already spoken about in your personal statement. So I would just once again read the personal statement a few times before you head to that first interview, and you should be good to go if you can reiterate that verbally. Another thing is, where do you see yourself practicing after you graduate from dental school? This right here is actually a tricky question, and there's a variation to this that I'll tell you about as well. But the reason why it's tricky is because let's say you're from California or from Texas, and you go to school in Michigan, or you go to school in Kentucky or something like that. When they ask those types of questions, it's because they don't want you to say that, oh, I intend to go back to California to practice, or to Florida, or to Texas. So that's the trick right there. You want to say something along the lines that you want to continue to work in the area, you want to keep all doors open at the same time, because you never know where life is going to take you, but don't be a firm, I'm going to go home, and that's that. Leave the door open for all possibilities, and that will give a much better answer, because when dental schools accept people, they expect and they want people at the same time to stay in the area after they graduate and to work and treat the same types of people that they've been treating when they went to dental school. So keep that in mind. A variation to this is, do you want to specialize? And it's the same type of thing. So many people are so gung-ho on specializing after dental school, yet they don't know anything about the specialties, because think about it. You're a pre-dental student at this time. You have not even experienced what it means to be an orthodontist, what it means to be an oral surgeon, or a periodontist, or anything for that matter. So what you should be saying to how you should be answering for a question like that is along the same lines is, well, you know, I've been interested in these things, but I can't say yes or no because I have not gone through dental school yet, so I don't really know what being an endodontist entails, the ins and outs of that, or an oral surgeon or something like that. So I just want to go through all the courses, see how everything is, and I want to keep all doors open, and by that, maintain good grades. And if you say something along those lines, that's a great answer. Another thing, if you did research, you can definitely expect some sort of a question on research. One thing that I've heard at a few of my dental school interviews was, do you read? This is to basically assess if you're somebody who's very knowledgeable, not just so much about the sciences, but quote-unquote that Renaissance man or woman, somebody who likes to be a lifelong learner and who likes to broaden their horizons in all different respects. So I would definitely say yes. If you don't, as I mentioned before in my videos, you definitely should be reading, because knowledge is power. But at the same time, if you don't, pick a book on SparkNotes, read the theme, the motif, and everything in regards to that. So just in case you do get asked a question like that, you can kind of briefly talk about that very quickly. Another question you can expect is, if not dentistry, or if dentistry didn't exist, what would you pursue? So the way I would go about answering this question is to look at the traits that dentistry kind of embodies. Interpersonal communication, being able to lead a team, healthcare oriented, about helping others. Pick a career that's somewhat similar in those regards, but then tie it in when you're explaining why you would choose that career, tie it into dentistry and how they somewhat relate in those regards. Another question that you're definitely going to get anywhere you go in the country to interview is, why this school? Or what do you like about this program? Definitely do your research in regards to whatever program it is that you're interviewing and talk about the pros of that program. Another question you can expect is, how do you de-stress? Because dental school is very stressful. There is a huge workload. You're always on the go, always on the go. So it's important to maintain some level of balance in terms of a stress-free life or being able to manage stress. And that's something that dental schools in the past couple years have been very adamant about. So consider what you like to do to de-stress. Another thing you can expect is somewhat along the same lines. You can hear it posed in this way: dental school is tough. How do you plan on handling the workload? Or if you had gotten a very poor grade in a course in undergrad, they'll question you about that grade that you got, and they'll say something along the lines, well, I see that you didn't do so well in this organic chemistry class. How do you plan on handling the workload during dental school? So for something like that, I would talk about, well, what did you do to improve? How did you change your lifestyle, your study habits, something along those lines, and how it's going to prove effective because of the last couple quarters or semesters or years that you've had in undergrad. And that can kind of be along the same lines as to you managing your time effectively because you like to create a schedule, you like to stick to a schedule, and so on and so forth, things like that. You can also expect some sort of an ethical question. So for one, lots of students have been asked this: if you caught a classmate cheating or doing something unethical, what would you do? So for that, how I would respond to a question like that is I would definitely talk to my classmate, tell them to turn themselves in to the professor. And if they don't do something like that, if they believe that they were not in the wrong, or they don't want to admit that they cheated or did whatever it is that they did that was unethical, then you'd have to go and you'd have to talk to the administration or to the professor of that respective course. Just say what you would want, what you expect the interviewer to want to hear. So just think about that. Another ethical question you could expect is if a patient comes in and they want to get all their teeth extracted, even though their teeth are completely sound and there's no problems with 70% of their teeth or something like that, yet they want to get all their teeth extracted because they've been led to believe that their teeth are going to fall out anyways. So what you want to say along to answer a question like that is something along the lines of explaining to the patient, first of all, the benefits of having all your teeth in your mouth versus having fake teeth, whether it be implants or dentures, why that's very important, why it's also very important to maintain good oral health because it allows you to eat properly and so on and so forth, things like that. You don't necessarily have to go into the science behind it because you don't necessarily know the science behind it because you haven't gone through dental school. But you can say something along the lines that you will try your hardest to explain to the patient why it's important not to pull the teeth that are perfectly healthy and why it's important to maintain your teeth for as long as you live. And then if the patient denies that or whatever, then you have to say something along the lines, even if they pose the question, well, this patient will pay $100,000 or something like that. You'd be surprised some of the things interviewers will ask you to try to get you to say the wrong thing. But what you want to say is you would not treat the patient. That's that. They can go somewhere else, but you would not treat them. So a couple other ethical questions that you can expect as well. Another thing, definitely be prepared to see or to hear is 3 positive traits about yourself. So what I would say is something along the lines of leadership, goal-oriented, team player, things like that, things that show that you'd be a match for dentistry. So make sure you have 3 positive traits. They'd also ask you some negative traits as well. So I would definitely don't talk more than 1 trait or something along those lines, but turn that negative into a positive, something along the lines like, I'm very hard on myself, and that can cause me to be hard on others as well when they don't meet certain expectations. So turn that into a positive that, yes, I've learned that it's better to trade expectations for appreciation, something along those lines, and how it's made you a better leader in that regard. And another thing, what don't you like about dentistry? They can definitely ask you a question like that or pose very similar to that. So what I would do to answer this type of question is stick to access to care. The fact that there are certain barriers to patients getting the proper dental treatment that they need, whether it be because there's not enough dentists in a certain area, or it's difficult for patients to get a ride to a dental office because there's not a dentist in the area they live, or insurance problems, things along those lines. So just Google access to care. There's numerous documents, they're all the same, that say the biggest barriers to access to care. Just hit on those points. You're going to blow their minds, because most people don't know anything about that, but every dentist and working at a dental school will know about access to care. Every dentist that's working in the country as well should know about access to care. And other than that, if you guys have any other questions, feel free to shoot me an email, follow my Instagram, pat.the.dentist, and ask me questions on that as well. And if you like this video and you found it helpful, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up and tell your friends as well. Good luck on all your interviews, and I hope you get into your first choice.